He's finally joined me for another one. I felt after my last video and his interruption, it was good to kind of reintroduce Snoop. Now, Snoop's a bit special. We got him as a pup from a breeder. We wanted a dog that wasn't going to shed, so we got something that was mixed with a poodle. And we ended up with Snoop. He was a fantastic puppy. He is a wonderful temperament, and we love him so much. One of the issues, though, is he ended up with cancer about 8 months in, 9 months of age. He started getting really sick, and we couldn't figure out what it was. They thought he had pneumonia, and they ran a bunch of tests, and he was just getting more ill and more ill to the point where he physically could not walk. We ended up having to take him to Toronto for tests, and it turned out that he had cancer. This not even year-old pup that we had kind of grown to love in a short period of time was ill, and we were at serious chance of losing him right around Christmas. He was not well. They didn't think he was going to make it. We didn't want to do surgery or chemo or things like that. It just wasn't. We did do one injection of chemo, and it just wrecked him. So we decided to put him on the Rick Simpson protocol. We adjusted the formula for his height and weight because he's not a human being. He's quite a bit smaller than a human being. As you can see him sitting on my lap. He's not quite as big as me, but he's still a pretty big boy. So we adjusted it, and I want to say 7 months after we did the full treatment, he was back to his old self. Now, not entirely back to his old self. His back end is a bit weaker than other dogs just because that's where the cancer attacked, unfortunately. So he still does have weakness there. We have him going up and down stairs as much as possible, and we do as much as physio as possible. But the reason why I just kind of want to talk about him a little bit more, this was already all covered. If you want more information, it was covered in a previous video. I did talk about everything that we did do for him. So if you are interested, go back in my playlist and have a look for Snoop's introduction back then. But because we are now at our 2-year, he had his 2-year checkup. He is about 2.5 years of age right now, and his white count is normal, and he's doing healthy, and he's happy, and we're doing great. The only thing that I wanted to talk about, he is still on a holding dose. Now, we did the Rick Simpson protocol. We hit it really hard, but we still have him on a maintenance dose. He's on about 1 ml of CBD and a pill of THC oil every other day, just to help him with stuff. We did notice when we were weaning him off, he started standing only on 3 legs. So we needed to give him some kind of relief because there is obviously some probably nerve damage from the cancer and things like that over the time that he had it. Because he was really ill, and it did do damage long term. So he is on a maintenance dose now. And one thing I do want to talk about is the cannabis oils, or cannabis is, or it can be used as, it is a blood thinner. So one thing to note, he ended up getting his paw caught in one of the rocks in our yard somewhere, and he ended up pulling off his toenail, and it was like gushing blood. It was just a crazy crime scene. And we thought something was terribly wrong, and it ended up being fairly minor at just his toenail had gotten pulled off. But nonetheless, we ended up having to take him to Emerge because we couldn't get them to stop the bleeding. Even while we were there, they couldn't get it to stop. We ended up back at the vet's clinic the next morning, and then it ended up being probably a good 3-month ordeal of trying to get him back and better. Just because he bled so much, it took a long time for him to actually heal all the way, and he was licking and things, so we had to keep it really protected. But that's just something that I wanted to talk about because it's not perfect. The cannabis has side effects itself, right? It has the blood thinning effect that we found out for him. And I'm just sharing that because if other people have their pets on cannabis and things like that, it's just something to think about in the future if they have to go for any either procedures or anything else. It's just good to know, and it's good to know, let your vet know as well, that that they are on it, and it can be a side effect. It's just something good to know. I thought it was good to share just our experiences and up and downs that happened with him, because it was really a trial. We didn't know it was going to work. We just kind of hoped for the best, and we got lucky. So I wanted to share the story again and share the challenges that it has brought over time. I think it's important for people to know that for sure. So if you have any questions, if you like this video and if you want to see more of Snoop, or if you have any information on what we did for Snoop and how he's doing today, feel free to comment, subscribe to my page. I would love to have you as a follower, and I would love to keep you up to date with things that are happening and the stuff I'm using to help me and my animal, I guess, because it helps him too. So it's pretty cool. It's neat stuff.